For most of maritime history, a seafarer's conditions depended entirely on the company. The Maritime Labour Convention changed that by writing the floor into international law, and it is often called the Seafarers' Bill of Rights. It sits alongside SOVA's, MARPO and SDW as a fourth pillar, and it is enforced the same way. Certificates, inspections, and when things are bad enough, detention. In the next few minutes, rest hours and how they are counted, the employment agreement, accommodation and food, the complaint procedure that protects the person who uses it, and what an inspector looks at. Rest hours are the part every seafarer argues about, and the rule has two forms: either a minimum of 10 hours of rest in any 24-hour period, or 77 hours of rest in any 7-day period. Within that 24 hours, rest may be divided into no more than 2 periods, one of which must be at least 6 hours uninterrupted, and the interval between consecutive rest periods must not exceed 14 hours. Records are kept in a standard format, signed by the seafarer and by the master, and the seafarer receives a copy. Drills are arranged to minimize disturbance to rest, and a call out that breaks a rest period earns compensatory rest. Records that show perfect compliance every single week are the first thing an experienced inspector distrusts. Every seafarer has a written seafarer's employment agreement, signed by both parties, and the seafarer keeps an original. It states the wages and how they are calculated, the leave entitlement, repatriation arrangements, health and social security protection, and the notice period for termination on both sides. Financial security for repatriation and for abandonment must be in place and evidenced by a certificate posted aboard, because the convention was written partly for crews left in foreign ports with no wages and no ticket home. Accommodation is regulated, not left to taste. Minimum headroom, floor area per person, heating and ventilation, lighting, noise and vibration limits, separate sanitary facilities, and a hospital space on ships that require one. Food and catering carries its own weight. Food provided free of charge, of suitable quality and quantity, with drinking water, and a ship's cook, who is trained and qualified for the role. Then health and welfare, medical care aboard and ashore, a medicine chest and medical guide, ship owner liability for sickness and injury, and access to shore leave, and to communication with home, which the convention treats as a welfare matter rather than a courtesy. The complaint procedure is the mechanism that makes the rest of it real. Every ship carries an onboard complaint procedure, and every seafarer receives a copy of it. A complaint is normally raised at the lowest possible level first, usually the head of department, then to the master, and it may go to the company, to the flag state, or to the competent authority in the port. The convention explicitly prohibits victimization of a seafarer for filing a complaint, and the seafarer may be accompanied or represented. A crew that does not know the procedure exists is itself a finding at inspection. Ships carry a Maritime Labour Certificate and a Declaration of Maritime Labour Compliance, and those two documents state what the flag requires and what the ship owner does about it. Port state inspectors verify the certificates and check specific areas, rest hour records against the actual watch system, wage payments against their agreement, food and catering, accommodation, and whether the crew knows the complaint procedure. Serious or repeated breaches are treated like any other serious deficiency. Conditions that are clearly hazardous to safety or health can detain the ship until they are corrected, and the flag and the ship owner are notified. Examiners test the MLC in 3 layers, the numbers 10 and 24, 77 and 7, the 2-period rule and the 6-hour block. The documents, the employment agreement, the Maritime Labour Certificate and the Declaration of Maritime Labour Compliance, and the Financial Security Certificates. In judgment, what a master does with a complaint that names an officer, and what an inspector concludes when rest records are perfect but the watch system makes them impossible. Work practice makes those answers straightforward. That practice is what the workbook is for. the Maritime Labour Convention and crew welfare, covering hours of rest, accommodation, complaints, records and MLC inspection, with 280 practice questions and worked answers. The link is in the description alongside the rest of the Tower Press Maritime Library. Keep the records honest, and the convention works the way it was written to.